yet in February here on the farm in Pennsylvania. But today we have a sheet of ice. I could go skating in my shoes. Everything is ice covered this morning, which is beautiful, but very slippery. But I thought it would be fun to take you along and document what these winter days on the farm actually look like. I know summer, really spring, summer, and fall are super busy on the farm between planting and then growing and harvesting and all that comes with that. So winter is definitely a little bit more of a season of rest. However, it's when we're trying to tackle things that we don't have time for the rest of the year. So things like home improvements. Josh has been working on replacing some barn doors and fixing up some things like that. A lot of repair type stuff. Of course, I'm still spending time in the kitchen all the time. And then something I'm not doing all winter long but need to do here within the next week, and I was actually hoping to do this today, is prune my David Austin roses, which need to be pruned when they're in their most dormant state. So after a really cold stretch and then now covered in ice, I thought, you know what? It's probably about as dormant as we'll get, so I should tackle that as well. So those are a couple of things on the agenda. So the kids are hoping to go sledding this afternoon on the ice. We'll see how that goes. But I hope that you just enjoy following along, living life with us here over the next day or two. Let me know in the comments below what's keeping you busy these days, and let's get right to it. 90% of the lobster in the whole United States. Whoa. This is some more work around the farm in the winter. They are replacing barn doors, putting some new siding on, things that we definitely don't have time for in the summer during busy season. How's it going, babe?
Not a great place to work today.
Because it's so wet?
Yeah.
My goodness, it is so freezing cold out here. Let's try to make this quick. But I'm out here by my roses. I have 3 David Austin shrub roses planted right here. I forget the name of them, but I will try to leave it on screen for you. I learned last year just how good it is for them to be pruned hard. I cut them back to probably 12 inches tall, and they grew literal feet. By May or June, we had hundreds of beautiful roses. This year I'm going to come back in and I'm going to find one of my middle branches here to kind of use as my guide. I'm going to cut it back by half of its height, and then kind of base everything off around that to get it, you know, hopefully pretty even. And once that's done, I'm going to go ahead and just look for anything that looks diseased, like it's not doing great. We're going to cut those off. If there's any foliage on, I don't see any. I think that's pretty much all off. But if there is any foliage, I like to also cut that off now. And then also any spindly branches. So if there's any branches that just look kind of thin and not so great, I'll cut those as well. Roses will thank you for pruning them hard. And so that's what we're going to do here now. You do want to prune roses when they are in their most dormant state. I think I mentioned that earlier. We're doing this today. Usually like January or February is a great time. And then these branches that I'm pulling off, I want to get rid of. I'm going to put them, I have my gator parked right over there. We're going to put them on there so that we make sure that could there be disease in anything, we're moving that away from the plant so the plant can thrive. All right, that is looking so much more cleaned up. I know it basically looks like a pile of sticks right now. Another thing that I try to keep in mind while I'm pruning is I want the center area to be pretty open because good airflow is essential to healthy roses. So I am mindful to prune away branches that are facing inward. I want as many facing outward so that that center area can get as much airflow as possible. But these are all good to go and ready for warm days ahead. I should have probably mentioned, for those of you that are worried about my big fur coat, this thing is way too big for me. I used this when I was pregnant, and it's my only winter coat right now, which is why I'm using it outside, but it's fine. It needs replaced anyway. Let's take a moment to talk about New Flora's February collection. You guys know how much I love my natural fibers, and every item that I'm about to show you is 100% cotton except for one dress, which is like a linen viscose mix. And if you're new, I do these collections once a month, showing you my favorites from each month's collection. I know a lot of you seem to really look forward to these. My discount code GOLDENHOUR10 is still good, and that's good on returning customers, new customers, gift cards, all of it. And so anyways, I hope that helps you out. Let's start with the Camden dress. This dress is so good. It reaches almost to my ankles. The fabric on this, you guys, how beautiful. It is that muslin cotton, which you know is my very, very favorite. So it's incredibly soft on the skin. It has this beautiful smocked top. Now I thought it was interesting. So this smocking is higher than some of their others, and Jess, the designer at New Flora, and her and I have become good friends over time. She is the sweetest, but she was talking about how as moms, obviously any woman can wear these dresses. You don't have to be a mom to wear them, but often after a number of babies, you get a bit of a, pooch going on. And so sometimes the lower dresses kind of accentuate that more. So their vision behind making this a higher bust area is to be more flattering, even after you've had a lot of babies. And then of course, it's actually more fitting for maternity as well. So there's plenty of room in this dress. It is nursing friendly because of the smocked top. So it's just a really good, versatile piece that can also go with you through the different seasons of life, and then also the seasons of the year. Let's grab a cardigan to pair this with. All right, this is the Cassis cardigan in green. They had this one last month in a beautiful, almost navy blue color, but y'all, you cannot go wrong with a good green. This one has pockets. Oh, and I forgot to mention, the dress actually has pockets as well, but this one has a beautiful texture going on, good length, and perfect for cozying up any outfit. I forgot to mention, I am 5'7" for reference, and this dress I was wearing in a small. The cardigan was an extra small, and this dress is the Oakhurst Dress, and this one I'm actually wearing in a medium. So why am I going all over the place on sizes? Because I know how things fit. This one is a very fitted top, and so I often will size up a size. The other one is, you can just see it's more stretchy, more roomy, and so I just kind of base it off of that. So this is the Oakhurst dress. Oh my goodness, is it not so fun? It almost gives off apron vibes because it has a belt, which I tied in the back. Buttons are functioning, so it's nursing friendly, and then it has these cute little flutter sleeves going on. Oh, and you can also see the fabric detail there as well. This one is also 100% cotton, and I think that this would be so cute paired with this gorgeous cardigan. Hang on. This is the Cumberland Cardigan, and oh my word, it's the prettiest kind of navy blue color. Is that not so fun to wear together? Okay, but look at these buttons. They are so cute, and the texture on this one is also so good. And then of course my favorite part is that it is 100% cotton. I am wearing the cardigan in a small. You guys remember last month I kind of freaked out over the sleeves of the Marlowe dress, and they are back in this stunning blue piece. Now the top of this is more like the Angela dress was a number of months ago now, but the sleeves are back, and the bodice is actually very similar to the Marlowe. It just has this extra elastic band here. Otherwise I would say it looks very similar. Such a stunning but still very wearable, comfortable piece. So obviously with the top being stretchy, and it does have elastic all the way around, makes it nursing friendly. It would also be bump friendly, and of course it's 100% cotton. Y'all, look at this gauze. What even? I love that so much. It gives off Pride and Prejudice vibes, which is very much my thing. Smocking goes around the back. It does have pockets. I'm wearing a size small in this one. Okay, this is the Mallory top, and it is so beautiful, light gray. I paired that with the Sonoma skirt, and this is a beautiful gingham piece. Now, a couple details I want to point out on both of these. I grabbed this because I thought, oh my goodness, how cute would this not be paired with both of these as well. But this top, I really love the fit of this. This is comfortable. I did size up to a medium, and it just feels like a very comfortable everyday tee, but everyday but still detail. And this one has this beautiful, what's this called, like pointelle? Is that what it is? And then also a little tiny scallop around the neckline, which is so sweet and just adds beautiful subtle detail. I love the length of the sleeves. It feels elevated. And then the skirt, the tie is functional, which is super nice. So it's obviously, again, fits for different stages of life a lot better. This could totally actually be cute, like over a bump as well. The length of this one hits me also just above the ankle. Speaking of summer, this is the Fenway dress, and what a perfect transitional piece. This would be so cute also paired with either the Cassis cardigan or the Cumberland cardigan, and this one, by the way, also comes in a cream version, which would be so pretty paired with this like chambray looking dress. This one is also 100% cotton. Buttons are functional. This elastic situation is so nice. It is front and back. This one does also have pockets, and I'm wearing a small. The Fulton dress is back, this time in this beautiful blue color, and this is the dress that is not 100% cotton. So this one is, I believe, 80% linen, 20% viscose, so still this very comfortable, breathable fabric. The tie is functional, and so you can adjust your neckline. I've been so excited to share this outfit with you. It's very much down my alley. This top is a stunner. It has this beautiful detail all throughout with these eyelets. Oh my goodness, just gives it that really elevated feel. I love the ruffle, which goes all the way down the front here as well, and then it also has this beautiful ruffle sleeve. I would recommend layering this one because with the eyelet you can definitely see through it. But I paired it with the Delphi skirt. I'm wearing both of these in a small, and I think it is so cute how this ties together. So I don't know if you can see. You know what, once I take this off, I'll show you the detail of the skirt. Okay, let me show you what this actually looks like. So see that eyelet? It has this beautiful hem as well, kind of a scalloped hem, and I just think that with this blouse is so stunning and beautiful. This skirt also has pockets, and so anyway, just a beautiful piece. This is the Evanston top, and it is another beautiful, beautiful piece. It's kind of this like sagey grayish color, I would say, but the detail is absolutely phenomenal. If you look around the neckline, and then it also has that on the sleeve. What even? I love that so much. The back does have buttons along it, which is super fun. Now, one thing about me is I have football shoulders. That's what I used to call them. But you can see it's a little tight for me across the shoulders. I am wearing a small, so I may exchange it for a medium and give that a try. But aside from that, I absolutely love this piece. And finally, we have some pajamas. New Flora is releasing 3 different varieties of pajamas. All of them have something special. Okay, first of all, let's talk about the fabric. How cute, right? The floral. But then it has these adorable little ruffles that just kind of line the piece there along the front. The pants have a ruffle around the bottom as well. The set is 100% cotton. Buttons are functioning. Oh, and I forgot to mention there's also a ruffle around the sleeve here as well, but just perfect, cozy, comfy pajamas that you can still breathe in and snuggle up in bed. Pants do have pockets, and I'm wearing a size small. So I hope that this try-on gave you some inspiration in your wardrobe for ending off summer here, starting to dive into spring. And if there's any items that you're eyeing, I hope that you get them. I do know that pieces do tend to sell out quickly. So if there's specific pieces, and I did not show you nearly everything in the collection, but if there are pieces that you are eyeing, I would just recommend being there with your discount code when the sale goes live on Wednesday at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. A new to us breakfast that we have really been, well, I say new to us, for a long time. I haven't made this for years, but it's perfect for especially the cold winter days, and that is cream of wheat. But instead of buying it at the store, I'm just using my flour mill and grinding it to a coarse grind, and it has been so delicious. All the kids have been loving it, which has been really fun. So I'm gonna grind my flour now. I've been using hard white wheat, but I think you can also use any other kind really. So we're gonna do that. I have in my pot 5 cups of raw milk along with 1 cup of heavy cream. And I just feel like that makes it super creamy and delicious. I don't add any sort of sweetener, maple syrup, honey, I don't add any of that. We do put in a little bit of vanilla, about a tablespoon, and then also we love topping it with raisins or other fruits. So while this heats up, I'm gonna grind my flour and then we'll just add that to the pot here until it's nice and thick. I'm going to add 1.5 cups of the ground flour, and you can, I don't know if you can see the grains, it's definitely a lot coarser than what I like to use in baking. Last time I took you up here into this bathroom, it was like a lime green color. And so we've been busy painting it, and I have you flipped around so that hopefully the lighting is a little bit better coming in front of me instead of behind me. But basically what we did is left the trim the same as it was. I think you can see it. Yeah, we have all our hardware, everything out here, but it's the same color as these cabinets. It's kind of a creamy yellow color. I do not know the name of it, because this is the trim that was in here when we moved. However, I decided to leave that because it goes with the bathroom, it matches the toilet, it matches the heater, it even really ties into the floor well, and I'll give you more of an overall look so you can see all that together. But I thought if I go paint the trim, everything else is gonna look like it needs to be replaced, which is not something we can do right now. And so I just went ahead and started painting. We have been loving this color. This is the same color we did the bookshelves in the living room. It is Rolling Pebble, Benjamin Moore, I think. I'm gonna double check on that, but it's such a beautiful, kind of muted vintagey green, and I love it. So it probably looks done on camera. In real life, there's just a little bit of touch-ups that I need to do, mainly in like the edging in department. I did roll it twice, and so the walls should be good, but I just need to do a little bit of touch-ups. And then I have a brand new shower curtain I'm gonna put in here, and I'm really excited for how this is coming together. So let me go grab my paint clothes and we'll get to touching up. is an absolutely stunning morning. I'm in the middle of putting my makeup on, so excuse my face. Whitening strips in, but it is so beautiful and we needed some milk, so I'm gonna go grab some Jersey milk here for breakfast. on Instagram, I asked you a couple of weeks ago for ideas for what you wanted to see in videos, and I have 2 full pages here of ideas of what you wanted to see. And if any of you did not see that and also have requests, things you'd like to see, please let me know in the comments below. I make note of them and try to incorporate as much of that I can, especially if there's multiple requests for a specific type. So let me know if you ever have ideas or requests. But one thing that has been requested over and over is how I plan my garden or start seeds and that kind of thing. And so I'm not starting seeds today. I did share a little bit of starting eucalyptus seeds a couple weeks ago, which, by the way, those little baby seeds are about this big, the biggest of them. They're not all the same size. The one variety is about 2 inches tall right now, and then a couple of them are, you know, just wee little yet, but I'm excited to see those start to grow. I also just planted another flower seed, which is exciting. A lot of the like vegetables and things like that I wouldn't start yet, but my process for starting seeds is very simple, and especially for the vegetable garden, flowers varies so much. Like some years I've started quite a few flowers, other years I just buy whatever flowers I want or just kind of focus on shrubs and not even do annuals. So that's kind of a whole ballgame on its own. But as far as my vegetable garden goes, I think through what are my main crops? What are our core crops that we use the most of, specifically things that I also like to can a lot of? And for us, that narrows down to tomatoes, peppers, and onions. So I know I want a lot of those, and that's kind of where I start planning off of. I know that I'll want to use at least 2 of my garden boxes for tomatoes, 1.5 for peppers, and then at least a full one for onions. And I would actually love to really plant a lot more onions this year, because last year we finally were able to get these big, beautiful onions that lasted so well. The flavor was incredible, so I'm hoping to actually plant a lot more onions. But that's what I start off with, is those core plants. Make sure that whatever space you have, that you divide it up accordingly. So I know a lot of us are kind of limited, like this is my garden area, and so it's just then really a matter of ratios of how much of this you want to plant in comparison to that. And then I also try to keep in mind what are good companion plants. So I like to sit down and in the beginning of the year, draw out my garden boxes, the layout of them. I have different sizes of garden boxes. I know that this is kind of unique to whatever your situation is. Maybe you have an in-ground garden, which is what I did for years, or you have different types of raised bed. You can also do container gardening, or even I've seen these, what are they called? They're like a tower garden, pretty much, which it could be a great option if you're really limited on space. But basically, I like to draw out my plan. And some of you have been asking, yes, we did build our own garden boxes a couple years ago. They are about 14 inches high and about 4 feet wide. And obviously the height is totally up to you. We left the bottom open so that the soil goes completely down, because this is where our in-ground garden was before. So we have really good soil underneath of it, and that just helps with nutrients. I like to plant radishes sometimes in the fall. Their tap roots go 6 feet down, and so they are great for like composting the ground and making really good soil, bringing up nutrients from down there, all that stuff. We're not talking about fall garden prep right now though. So for our garden boxes, they're 4 feet wide, and that is one thing I would highly recommend, because you're still making the most of your space with the width, but you can reach to the middle from both sides, which is the biggest thing you want to keep in mind. You don't want to have to crawl into your box, basically. So we have varying sizes. We have 3 different sizes of boxes. Some are perfectly square, some are rectangular, and then some are kind of in the middle, shorter rectangle. And that's worked well for us. I would love to add some more garden boxes, and if we ever do, I'll try to take you along, because I know a lot of you have been asking specifics on how we built them, but I doubt that's going to happen this year because our summer is already shaping up to be a super busy one. So anyways, I will draw my garden boxes, the layout of my garden. Even before I had garden boxes, I would just draw like the rows in my garden and then plan out what I'm planting where. I try to alternate so that I don't have the same thing growing in one spot 2 years in a row. That's just good for soil health. And then also keep in mind what are good companion plants. So planting onions beside, something that's prone to a lot of insects can be helpful to deter deter the insects and bugs away. And then actually before I fill in the rest of my crops, I like to make just a couple little areas and mark them in for flowers. This is totally not necessary, but I just love the beauty and kind of the secret garden feel that it gives when you have little pops of flowers tucked in here and there. They're not taking up, big spots of the garden, but they're, just enough to add a little magic and a little bit of color. So I'll often mark those in as well, and then fill in the rest of my area with the not quite so high on my list vegetables. So things like radishes, and this obviously varies so much from family to family, but carrots are pretty important for us. Potatoes are as well. What else would be red beets is something that we like, we're not as crazy about. So things like that are a little bit less important on the list, and just fill in according really just to what's important to your family. It will also make a big difference if you preserve food and things like that. Oh, and one thing I forgot to mention, because my whole garden is in full sun, but it is also really important to be mindful of what gets the most sun. So things like peppers, for example, they want the hottest sun you can get, the fullest sun, whereas things like your lettuces and spinach and some of those actually prefer not quite as harsh sun. So those are some things you can keep in mind, but the instructions for that should be on the back of your seed packets. I get my seeds, pretty much all of them, from Johnny's Selected Seeds. I will say their shipping tends to be expensive, but I've just had really good success with their seeds and have been really happy with the germination rates and all of that. So that's where I like to go. I will occasionally just also pick up, lettuces, direct seeding seeds just from the hardware store or the greenhouse and things like that. Now, as far as starting your own seeds, again, we're not going through the process today. If you want to see more of the actual process, I can try to include that in future vlogs. The actual process of planting the seeds is obviously very easy. It's really more thinking through, do I want all the work of keeping up with these plants? So once they're planted, are you going to be able to keep up with keeping all of them in light and keeping them watered? This is actually a lot of fun for me. It feels like therapy as we inch toward spring and I can finally get my hands in the dirt, but it is a lot of work because once your seedlings outgrow their tiny little seed trays, you have to pot them up into bigger pots, which then also you need more light to cover them. We use fluorescent lights. Once I get more into this, I want to show you kind of our arrangement down there. We actually have them in the basement, so you don't need them next to windows if you use fluorescent lights. It works really well. My mom has run a flower farm for years and has had great success with doing this just in a dark basement. So that is one big bonus point, but they do need to water and be watered consistently. And then as it gets time to plant them out, as you start hardening off, is probably the busiest part of starting seeds inside, because you need to be taking your plants out. First, it's just a couple hours a day, and by now they're all potted up into bigger pots, right? So you have a lot more bulk. So taking them all outside and keeping an eye those first few days on the weather. Is it really windy? Is it really bright sunshine? They need to go out slowly. And so just really keeping in mind, sometimes you bring them out and you're like, this is a great time to start. And then it gets really windy and you're like, they are not strong enough for this. And so you bring them all back in, put them back under the lights. So it's often about 2 weeks, I would say, where every single day you're bringing your plants out. In the evening, you're bringing them back in. You're slowly starting to leave some of them out overnight as they get accustomed. And that, I would say, is kind of the biggest thing that takes up a lot of time. So that is something to just keep in mind. Is it worth that for you? And just kind of weighing the pros and cons. This year, personally, I am planning to start a lot of flower seeds for events that hopefully I can tell you about at some point. We have some exciting things coming up, but I'm not actually doing a lot of vegetable seeds just because I already know we have a busy season coming up. I will have a lot of flower seeds to take care of, and I do have good options to get little seedlings from the greenhouse nearby. And so I'm only planning to start pepper plants that I cannot get locally. They are the lunchbox peppers from Johnny's Seeds. Since the first year that I started them, I have grown them. They are our very favorites. They are so delicious, sweet, crisp. They're the little peppers that are delicious to snack on. We just do not want to go without those. So I will be starting those from seed, and then the rest will be flower seeds for me, but the process is the same, whether it's vegetable seeds or flower seeds. So hopefully that answered some of the questions on starting your seeds, flowers, all of that. Let me know if there's any more questions that I did not cover, but it's really not that complicated. Just get started, have fun with it. It's really a form of art, planning your garden is. You can get really creative with like colors and all of that, which is fun. Growing your own vegetables definitely gives you so much more. Okay, my battery died, but I think I was just saying that I think setting up your garden is really just a form of art and so fun. You live and you learn. Every year I'm still learning. I grew up with my mom gardening, watching her garden. I have gardened myself now for, goodness, 12 years, and it is just something that I look forward to every single year, and I'm still learning and still growing. So if it's something that you enjoy, would like to get better at, I would say just dive in, start small, grow from there, and let me know in the comments if you have any further questions with any of this. I hope that was helpful, and I hope you enjoyed following along on the farm here for a couple of days. Thank you so much for being here, and I'll look forward to seeing you next time. Bye, friends.
Golden, golden thing.